Hi BookTube, my name is Juan. I am just one reader. 2020 is almost over, so that means it's time to present some of my favorite books of 2020. In this particular video, I will be talking about my 6 favorite nonfiction reads of the year. Now, I have never been a huge nonfiction reader myself personally, but I have recently found my kind of nonfiction, the kind of topics and subject matter and the kind of voices within nonfiction that I really like. So I have found recently that nonfiction can be just as good as fiction, and sometimes even better. When a particular author or a particular subject matter or topic really clicks with you, it's something really special that only good nonfiction can give you. So without any further ado, these are my 6 favorite nonfiction books of the year, and yes, I will be ranking them. Coming in at number 6, Buddies by Ethan Worden. This book is wonderful. It's a weird hybrid of memoir, short story collection, essay collection. It just has a lot of different things in it, and it's great. It deals mainly with homosexuality in Manhattan back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I believe, and it just has a lot of things in it that you will love if you're anything like me. It talks about growing up gay in this particular context, but it's also very universal in the way that it explores homosexuality. For example, something that actually gives the book its title, Buddies, is Ethan Worden explores the very particular and very specific sense of loneliness that homosexual men tend to have sometimes at some point in their lives, but also the very particular friendships and relationships that they develop with other men, and the brotherhood and camaraderie that is very, very special to this kind of gay experience. One of my favorite parts of this book is how Ethan Worden describes discovering and learning all about the theater, musical theater, Broadway, opera, all of that, show business. It's just lovely to read, and I immediately resonated with those bits. This book was bittersweet and very powerful. Coming in at number 5, The Diary of a Bookseller by Sean Bithell. This book was so magnificent. I really enjoyed this particular voice, Sean Bithell as a persona, as an authorial voice. Oh my God, he's the best. So this book is a journal. It's exactly what it says in the in the title. It's the diary of a bookseller. He's the owner of the bookshop in Wigtown, Scotland, which is a very famous, celebrated, wonderful bookshop that I would love to visit sometime in my lifetime. And we get to hear and read his rambling thoughts and his everyday thoughts and what happens in his life, the goings on. It deals with the book industry, the book selling industry, Amazon, and all of these modern things that are going on in the book selling and book buying world. And what I really loved was the voice. As I said, Sean Bithell is very funny. He has a cynical, kind of dry humor that was so delicious. It was so delicious, and this was just a great, delightful experience. Coming in at number 4, Wake Up by Piers Morgan. I thought this book was just remarkable. Regardless of whether you like Piers Morgan or not as a character or as a political individual, whether you agree with him or not, or his voice, which can be sometimes aggressive, I think this book has a lot of merit, and I personally really loved it. He does a great job of combining many different topics in a very fluid, organic way. He talks about the COVID-19 pandemic and British politics, the British management of the pandemic crisis. He talks about Brexit. He talks about the media, the news. He talks about woke culture, cancel culture, and how cancerous they are to free speech. He goes back to the roots of being a liberal person and what that means, what that should mean in the future. This book was also hilarious. So yeah, it's a great experience for me. Coming in at number 3, I have Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops and More Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops, both by Jen Campbell. These are the perfect little books to read if you are a bibliophile, if you enjoy weird, quirky things that people do and say, especially in bookshops or bookstores. Which is weird because this one has the word bookstore and this one says bookshop. I don't know what to believe in anymore. But anyway, these books are hilarious. They are short, easy reads that are great, refreshing palate cleansers. I adored reading them. I would buy all of the books that Jen Campbell decided to write under this kind of premise or in this kind of series. I wish she wrote more of them because they are truly wonderful. They are so funny, and they also feel very uplifting. There's something essentially good and decent about this kind of book. I think most of it has to do with Jen Campbell. She's a decent person, and you can really feel the warmth, the love, the decency that is overflowing these books. And these books are not just written by Jen Campbell. Jen Campbell puts them together and she ties everything up, but these are really 2 collections of different weird things that booksellers have sort of registered that people say in bookshops and do in bookshops. So it's kind of wonderful. There's something really wonderful about reading this kind of stuff, and yeah, it's wonderful. It's nostalgic for some reason, it's uplifting, it's hilarious, and there's something essentially good about them. Coming in at number 2, Kyos Legacy by Helene Hanff. Now, Helene Hanff at this point is like a soulmate to me. She feels like a soulmate to me. She's one of my favorite people. She's one of my favorite authors and voices, and I just resonate with her so much. It's incredible. She's the author of some books that you might have heard of, especially 84 Charing Cross Road tends to be the more popular one. But my personal favorite one is Apple of My Eye, which is about New York City. So Helene Hanff writes nonfiction exclusively, and her books always make it into my favorites of the year list. I try to read her at least once a year. She is no longer with us. She is already dead. So I don't want to read them very quickly because I need to know that there's more Helene Hanff out there that I haven't yet read. You know what I mean? So this one, Kyos Legacy, is just an exploration of different parts in her life when she was writing 84 Charing Cross Road, when she suddenly became very famous for that, when they made the movie of that book. We get to see many different points in her life, but what I really love about this book and all of her books really is the voice, the warmth. Again, what I was saying previously about Jen Campbell, there's a really warm decency at the core of this woman's writing. You can really connect with the humanity of this person. It's like watching an episode of Gilmore Girls. That's what it feels like to me reading Helene Hanff. It's like going back to Gilmore Girls or going back to Harry Potter, Hogwarts. It's like a warm, big hug, and it's so perfect. This book is perfect, and I'm pretty sure that everything that I read by Helene Hanff will be perfect. And coming in at number 1, my absolute favorite nonfiction book of the year by a mile has to be Razzle, Dazzle, The Battle for Broadway by Michael Riedel. I love Michael Riedel. I've been following him for years now, and this book was so sensational. It floored me. It gave me everything that I look forward to in a book and in life. I love the theater. I love Broadway, and I have lived my life surrounded by Broadway lore since I was a very young kid. You can even see that I have a Stephen Sondheim shrine in my house. Well, there's more Stephen Sondheim paraphernalia in my house. Let's just leave it at that. So getting to see how Broadway, how the empire that became Broadway, how it was built and who it was built by in such a thrilling, well-researched way by Michael Riedel with his wonderful biting voice, that's what I wanted to say. That was wonderful. It was a gift, and it's one of the best things that I found in 2020. This book was an absolute perfect fit for me, you know, like Cinderella trying on the shoe and it's a perfect fit. That's what this book was for me. Perfect fit for me. It is a very well-researched book. It's a thrilling story. It's incredibly well written. Like it feels like a thriller. It reads like a thriller. It's very, very fast-paced, and you just keep turning the pages. You learn so many different things about Broadway that you had no idea were there. It's crazy the amount of of facts that this book gave me. Very, very interesting information. It talks about humanity, you know, the power of some individuals that came together and built Broadway and built these shows and this music and this legacy that some of us still live by. In a way, I would say that reading this book to me felt like I was reading about a secret family or some ancestors that I didn't know I had. Do you know what I mean? It was wonderful. So yeah, this is the most perfect book that I read in 2020 in the nonfiction division. So I would love for more people to read it if you enjoy theater, musicals, or just a really great story. So there you go. Those were my favorite nonfiction books of 2020, a remarkable year in terms of my reading, especially nonfiction. So thanks for watching. I really enjoyed sharing them with you. Now it's your time to share. Leave a comment right now down below and let me know what are some of your favorite nonfiction books that you read in 2020. Thanks for watching. I am Just One Reader.